Hey everybody. Hey Boneless. All right. So today we are going to be building a hidden waterfall base. And we're going to be building it. This is on Gen 2. Close the map here. See, we are right about there. Get out of the water. You can see there's what I call the Space Needle, and it's the waterfall right below it. Now we are on the Wind Worlds Collide server. That's the PvP server that I play on. Great group of people. I also play on the Atricia cluster, which is a PvE cluster. It's a great server also. But we're building this one over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to build it behind this waterfall. If you notice right here, there's a ledge. Whoops. Turn my speeds down. There's a ledge right here. And we're going to build it so that it's basically behind this ledge. So there's that much space between the waterfall and the actual, where the base is going to be. I did that just so that I wouldn't have, so that we didn't have to worry about the roof as much. Now, of course, this is on a PvP server, so if you want to build something similar to this, you will have to adjust for the PvP aspect. But I'm just building, so I'm not worried about the PvP part of it. Now, what I've done is I've already got my foundations down, and I went ahead and sunk them down using the pillar technique. And it's very easy. You just pop a pillar, and then you put a pillar in the middle of it. And then when you put the next one on, it gives you toggle points. So, see, you can either raise or you can lower it just a little bit, and you just keep lowering them till you get them down as low as you want them. Now, I went ahead and done this one, so because it took me a good bit to get it lined up right the way I wanted it, so it fit inside the mouth of this. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and finish out our floor here. Now you can build this in metal, tech, I mean, whatever you want to. If your server allows stone, you can build it in stone. I use metal with tech accents. That way it's not, doesn't have a lot of tech stuff to it. I think doing metal and using like tech pillars, tech doorways, things like that as accent pieces actually adds a lot to it. So we're going to go ahead and get our foundations down. Now, I would have already had this done off camera, but I wanted to show how distinct that line is. Now, if you're wanting to build something similar, if you'll look right here, you see this kind of black mark in the dirt, or in the bed right here? You look, that mark actually starts curving right there, but it goes straight across right there. Let me get a pointer out. See it right there? So that's what I used to actually line it up. That way it was straight across. As straight as it can be, because that line's not exactly straight. Let's go ahead and get the rest of these down. Now what we're going to be doing is building a floor under the water for water tames. And then the first floor will be a little bit above that. If you happen to go, now this is on, like I said, on Wind Worlds Collide. If you happen to go over to the Atricia cluster and go to Gen 2, you'll actually see this same base. I built it over there and wanted to show, I've had people ask me how I built it or how I did some things, so I thought I would showcase it over here. Like I said, Wind Worlds Collide is a great set of servers. Now they are PvP oriented. So if you come over here, just keep that in mind that if you build something, somebody might blow it up. Alright, so we've got our first floor in. So that's going to be our base of our entire base, is that whole section right there. That's kind of how big it's going to be. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to build up here. Now, if you decide that, hey, you know, like that wall's barely touching, almost touching the top of the water, and you decide, hey, that's not as high as I want it. Like if you wanted your floor, this floor, you only wanted the bottom section to be 3 floors or 3 walls high, you just raise the foundations up till you get them where you want them. There we go. And of course, now depending on your server's settings, some of them allow clipping, some of them don't. So you may not be able to flush it out completely like I'm doing. And that's okay too. It's however you want to build it. Go ahead and get our walls in here. Now, some of the things you'll want to think about is, you know, are you going to have like an inset porch? Are you going to have gateways? All of that needs to be thought about. Now, that's the reason that I actually went 4 walls high with mine. So I'm actually going to have a dinosaur gate as the main entrance to the bottom floor. Because, I mean, I want it for water teams. So it just made sense to try and sink it in this way. There we go. See, we've got, is it 1, 2, 3, 4? That fifth one's that blank space. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So basically 12 across. Go ahead and get out our trusty gun. We're gonna pop these two. And that should have an entrance kind of in the middle, which is what we're wanting. So we should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not counting that last one right up against the wall because it's not a full one. So that's where our dinosaur's gate's gonna go. Now, one of the things you have to decide when putting in any base, any type of design, is how are you going to design your wall? So like right now, you've got your basic foundation and a wall. If you want to double that, then you've got to decide, okay, how do I want the double to look? Do I want glass walls? Now, of course, this is a PvP server. So in PvP, you want to stay away from glass as much as possible. Metal and tape's your best bet because it's the strongest. I'm worried about looks. But to me, it's all about how it looks, not necessarily how functional it is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave those 2 foundations right there, just because they give upward support. And we're going to, let's see. We're going to go with a triple wall design. So very easy design, but it's going to be triple walls. And we're going to go with an inset door right here. So we're actually going to go with it's an inset door, but it's a double door technique, just for looks. Let's go ahead and we're going to grab us some, tell you what, go with tech. Yeah. Since we're going for the looks on it, we're going to go with tech fence foundations. And we're going to go ahead and pop those in right there. And there's my tech double doors. Alright, and we're just going to go across here. Actually, right there. And then across the back. Now, you got to be careful when you're putting it in that you get them on the right side of the foundation that you're wanting to go for. Because if you put them on the wrong side, it changes. You can see it'll change your depiction that much, and that's not what we want. What's up? There we go, and we're going to pop one in right here. Let's see, let's put it on the inside like that. Take this one out, let's move it over just a little bit. There we go. Now it's on this foundation and not this foundation. Good deal. And then we're gonna put them across the front. Whoops. Definitely not on the ground. There we go. Like that right there. There we go. And there's a reason we made that design. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna pick these back up now that I got my points found. And also be careful, like you saw right there, I had a wall right there that didn't need to be there. Depending on the server you're playing on, you have to be careful with extra stuff like that because it eats up your count for your space. So depending on how much building they allow, you can actually hit structure limit. So you always want to be aware of that. If you put one in the wrong place, try to find it because that's one less you can place if you get close to your structure limit. Alright, so let's go ahead and go here. Give me just a second here. I tend to get questions asked from people when they know that I'm on building because I do help a lot of people and I don't mind helping anybody with a build. Teaching them something, showing them how I did something, or I've helped people build entire bases before. And I've built quite a few bases that have been sold on servers, so I'm always glad to help. Yeah, it's just sticking here. That was definitely the wrong button. That's a good one. I'm not entirely sure how they did. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right, so now that we've got those in, and the reason we're putting the fence foundations in is because it gives you 2 snap points. So we can actually use that a little bit differently. We made a friend. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get our final gates in, and that's the reason we put the fence foundations in, is it helps snap them in a lot easier. So, excuse me. Right, and then we're just gonna find that front snap point. Now, if you remember the last tutorial I did, green on walls, green is the outside of the wall, blue is the inside. So see how if we go there and there, there's actually 3 snap points right there. So we're wanting the front of, we're wanting the front snap point of, like that, of this foundation right here, not this one. And this one's gonna have 2 snap points because we put that foundation, or put them fence foundations in. Right, and see how it snapped to the back one? We don't want that because it leaves a little gap right there. But we don't want that. What you do is you look straight down. Should give you the right one. No, still trying to go to that back one. There we go. So now it's nice and clean right here. That's what we want to do. Right, we're going to do the same thing over here. That one. There we go. We'll just go 4 high on that. Green? Better be green. Yeah, it's green. Alright. So that's got our little entryway. Now you can put double dino gates in there if you want to for added security. Or you can just put it on this one so it gives it that little inset look, which is what we're going for. Right? And then we're just going to finish this out. Now we want the inside snap point. That. No. There we go, like that right there. And see, that's how much of an inset it gives you. Go ahead. We're going to finish this one. There we go. And usually I just wind up placing them and then go back and fix the ones that didn't get in the right place. Now, on a Tricia, you do have infinite pickup, whereas here on Worlds Collide, you don't. So if you put one down, you better pick it up. You don't want it there. Come on. Easy, easy. Oh. Now, if you notice right here, because it's against this wall, I can't put a fence. Actually, I can. It glitched in. Okay, so disregard that. But it's turned the wrong way. I don't know if it's going to let me get rid of it or not. Yeah, it did. Okay, well, it's not going to let me put it in correctly, so what I'm going to do is actually do away with that and just put the wall in regular. And I'll run a series of columns up to cover that up. Because depending on the server settings, like I said, some of them have clipping enabled, some of them don't. So you have to work within the limits of what the server will allow you to do. Get us some daylight here so we can see what we're doing. There we go. Now we're back to being able to see what we're doing. So good deal. Right, so let's just go ahead and finish this one out. Right, so that worked out pretty good. It's a nice, gonna be a nice little area in here. But since this is a PvP server, I'm gonna be actually putting the extra walls and everything in. Whoops, that one's out of place. And this is just so if I do this on PvP servers just as major, actually as an annoyance to people. Because if somebody really wants to get in your base, they will. But they're gonna have to go through all of this to do it. I can. No, I want. Give me my ceilings. Quit playing. Thank you. There we go. And this is also so I can put have my ceilings go across like a line. It's the reason being is whenever you do the double wall, if the one that you inset, if you snap your ceilings in that one, it's going to offset your entire build. So it will be off just a little bit, such as that right there. So that we're actually going to take care of. Is whenever we bring our doors, make sure I get on the outside snap point. This is what I was talking about using the double door frames as accent pieces. I get pulled out far enough here. Because by adding that take fence foundation, that gave us a double snap point. So then we can come back and use the front snap point to put these double door frames on. And that way we're not overusing the tech, so everything's not lit up. Because I'm sorry, if your walls have got lights and everything's got lights, and you're trying to build a secret base, well, all they gotta do is wait till nighttime and they can pretty much see it. Of course, don't forget, you can always change the light colors. You can even turn the lights completely out on the door frames. Just however you want to color them. See, that gives us our water pen. And the whole reason I put these walls in, like I said, these are going to be offset. These right here. So it's going to mess you up if you're not careful. But we put this row of walls in, and then we snap our ceilings to them. And it gives us that little lip like what we was wanting so that the door frame's just not sticking out over the edge of it. See, that's what happens when it snaps to the wrong one. That's not what you want. There we go. Still trying to snap to the wrong. And that does happen. You always have, anytime you have multiple snap points, stuff is going to try to snap to the wrong place. There we go. Just like that right there. But you always want to do, anytime you're doubling your walls or anything, you want to do those before you do ceilings, if you can. That way, because the ceiling's going to give you another snap point. But then you have 3 snap points you're fighting with. That looks good right there. Put walls in here. Now we want the blue side. Go. Come on. Don't know. Yep, that one went in. Good deal. Good deal. We'll just bring that right across. That's even. Good deal. Yeah, I was trying to snap down to the other snap point, so that's not what you want. There we go. Get these in with no problems. Sometimes parts go in easily, sometimes you gotta fight with them. Just depends on the angle you're standing at. Because the closer you are to the multiple snap points, then it'll try to snap to all of them. But if you can get to where you're only close enough for one snap point, it pretty much 90% of the time has to go in right there. Right, so that's our water entrance into the actual water pin area. Go ahead and flush these out. If I can get this one in. Okay, that went in. Good deal. Now, I would recommend that if you're on, hey buddy, you just hang it, okay? If you're on a PvP server, definitely double your doors or at least put the outside door in. That way they're not, because if you put just the inside door in, then they can just easily stand inside that doorway and they're protected from any guns or anything because the structure itself is protecting them. So I would recommend putting that one right there in. But like I said, I'm just building this. I build for looks, not for PvP. So I kind of like the entrance being that way because I can put guns right here if I want to. There we go. Right now, since we've got all of these foundations down here, they are giving foundation support for any ceilings built above them, as long as it's touching at least one of the foundations. Well, the entire wall's touching. So that means that we can actually just you can build all the way back, and it has support from the foundations below it. Like that right there. There we go. Now you can go back and add walls in behind it, like against the wall if you want to cover this wall right here up. You just have walls come straight up, touch the ceilings, problem solved. Which is what we'll probably end up doing just so we can clean it up a little bit. I want to go ahead and get the ceiling in first because that way I can figure out exactly where I need to go. That and my ceiling matches all the way across because it's only touching those first ceilings that we put in that are lined up correctly. Here. And at least we got a good, nice view now. That's looking out through the waterfall, which is what we were going for. There we go. So we've at least got the water pin area done. And I went ahead and did the door frames when I was building it, so that's pretty much done. We ain't got to worry about it anymore. We can, I mean, if you want to do a little bit of dress up, you can, but there's not much that needs to be dressed up on that. Of course, we'll have to come back and paint it eventually. But that's got the main area done. Then we can go back and add walls in here if we want to for support. On a PvP server, you might want to add like columns or something, or even just flesh out this back wall right here. You can go it like that. Just kind of square it off if you want to. That way, if they destroy the main wall, at least you got this back wall still supporting the structure. And it kind of evens it out across the back. Get one in. There, right there. There we go. See, now it looks like it's built into the actual structure whenever you come into the pen. Hey, Woods. Glad you can make it. Like I said, if you wanted to even it all out, you can take some of the area away by adding, the metal walls into the sides of the structure to make it flush out, like right here, just to kind of make it look like it's actually built into it. And I like leaving a little bit of the natural aesthetic of wherever I'm building into the build, so that it actually looks like it's built into the landscape, not just like built and then dropped into it. So by doing that, it actually looks like, you built it in. Plus, this right here gives you nice little hidey holes that you can use to hide like generators. You can put troughs in here and hide them behind doors. Just it depends on what kind of look you want to go for. I've seen and done builds where everything was hidden behind walls. So you couldn't see the lights, you couldn't see the jennies, couldn't see, some of the guns were hidden behind windows. It's just however you want to do it. Like you could even block off this little area right here. We'll just go ahead and hide it and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Then we'll drop a door right here. We'll come up this side here. And this will be where I can put a feeding trough and have it hidden down here so you actually can't see it. See, there's a hole right there. We'll pop that in. So now it looks like it's built in, but you've got a nice little spot here for a feeding trough. And remember, whenever you're doing, especially if you're doing take feeding troughs, other ones as well, and you're using take doors or any other door, don't put them right up against it. Especially take doors, because take doors, the door's still there. Even when it disappears, the door is still there. It's just invisible. And if you're standing here trying to access your trough, usually you just keep opening and closing the door because there's not enough space to get past the collision of the door. So move it back a little bit. And also by building these little rooms or section off, what we're doing is we're adding wall support to the bottom side of the ceiling. So that's instead of the ceiling just touching that part right there, it's also touching the back door there, that wall over there, and that little wall we put in up here. And that we put in right there. So it has more than one point that's getting support from. Alright, so now that we've got this done, we're going to go ahead and we know we're going to have the staircase going down into that area eventually. So, but first, we're going to go ahead and build the front of the base here. Now for this, I'm actually going to, even though, like on a PvP server, they definitely do not recommend using glass or use it as sparingly possible because it's a weak point. Yeah, I'm rebuilding the water base that I built over on Atricia on Gen 2. But since that base is already built, I didn't want to tear it down and rebuild it, so I'm building it over here. Right, so we're going to go ahead and grab our glass windows. Now, the glass walls, even if you put down the fence foundation, the glass walls only snap to the original snap point and foundations, which is what you want. Because for this little trick, see how even if we put the fence foundation exactly on the edge of this ceiling over here, there we go. That glass wall is still going to snap to the original, which is almost, look right here, it's almost in the middle. But what that does is it keeps that inside snap point free so that whenever we do a take door frame there, we still have this original snap point here. Not the doubles. Sorry, I put down the wrong way. We want the single. There we go. We'll pop that in. There we go. Single door frame. What we're going to do is we're going to pop it down on the inside, and that's going to give us our blue, which, you know, blue on the door frames is the inside. Well, we want to flip it using triangle. So we're going to flip it like that right there.
Nice to be out of the weather.
And then we're going to go here. We're going to get the blue, flip it. And that gives us a fully framed out window. That way it has a lot cleaner look. Now you can do this with the metal door frames. You can do it with Adobe. Any of them. Just by doing it that way. So we'll put down our take frame or take fence foundation. We're just going to go ahead and run the row out through here. Like that right there. And can we get that one in? I don't know if we... Oh. I think it's going to be a booger. And that's okay if it is, because we can always just not do... We can just do a regular... Like that right there and put a that column up, cover up that edge. Like that. Alright? I like that. That looks good there. Thanks. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and get our windows in while we have a chance. If I can get it to flip. There we go. Nope. There we go. Then we can pick that one back up. Always, of course, you have to decide how tall are you going to make each one of your floors. That's very, very important. If your floors are not the right height, well, leads into all kinds of chaos and rebuilds. And I usually keep mine about two walls high. That gives me plenty of room when I walk in. I don't feel like I'm in a cramped space, and we've got plenty of room here. That one tried to snap to the wrong one. You want that blue side? Give me the blue. There we go. There we go. And we're going to go up. Now we're going to be making this one 2 floors high, so it's going to be 4 walls altogether. So what we're going to do, I'm actually going to do a Dino Gate partial cover up. So let me show you here. We'll go ahead and get Dino Gate in. Now we only want the bottom half of this. So what we can do, well, you only want the bottom half, then why'd you put it in that way? I'm going to show you. But you're going to pick this back up. I'm going to see if I can get this to work. No guarantee. Actually, I forgot. I put that gate there. But we're going to do a balcony. I still want the dino gate, though. It's either that or I have to put in double doors, like 2 double doors side by side. I don't really like that. We're going to go here. We're going to pop our gate in. And I'm going to go ahead and put these right here in. And then I'm going to take and half this one. Because you can take, if you look right here, you can take a ceiling and put it halfway on and halfway off. So we're going to do it like that right there. And that'll give us an enclosed. We're just basically covering up half of that dino gate. Because if you try to sink it, because you can sink the dino gate like 2 walls down, but with it being built on top of the water pen, then half of it would be sticking into the water pen. I'm going to do it that way and actually turn it into a feature. Right, let's go ahead and pop that across. That one's okay. It's good. Make sure it wasn't off. Now we can go ahead and do this with the windows because remember the windows snap to the original front snap point of the foundation, so they're not offset. So we go ahead and put those in so that we get that original snap point. And then we can go back and we're going to do our door trim while we're here. So you want to look for blue, then hit triangle to flip it, and then place it down. We're going to pull out. There we go. Fairly easy in. So we would only get that first snap point. And if you're on a server where resources are hard to get or, you know, there's penalties for breaking stuff, definitely want to make sure you're careful with that because breaking a whole bunch of windows trying to get these in it's been a bane at times. Luckily though, over on the Atricia server, it is a 50x server, so it's really easy to get supplies and it's definitely easy to build. They do have infinite pickup, whereas like the server I'm on right now doesn't have that. So you're on a server like this one and you accidentally play something wrong, you better get it up before the timer runs out. In. Now, depending on how flashy you want it to be, or what material you're building out of, definitely come up with a different look because Adobe looks completely different whenever you do this. Whereas this, I wanted the windows to have a little bit of accenting, but not very overpowering. I could have went with metal, and it would have had no flash whatsoever. It'd be very, very dull. There we go. Then for our second floor, we're gonna do something a little bit different. Um, with this right here. Go ahead and get my floor put in. Like I said, depending on how you're wanting your build to go, what you want it to look like. I mean, you can do a lot of angles. The one I have on Atricia actually has a little bit of a difference, kind of got a bay window look to it. But then again, I did use a lot of glass in that one. Go ahead and just go across here. And depending on how you do your room designs, things like that will depict where you put staircases. I tend to, unless I've actually planned the entire build out, I tend to put staircases in as I'm going, or after I've got the floors in, because then I can figure out where the rooms are going. Definitely don't get in too big a hurry, or you'll hear that wonderful sound of stuff crunching. There we go. And remember, if you're using metal, which anybody that knows me knows that I use metal a lot, it has these two little panels right here. Makes it real easy to make sure you're lined up, that they're all facing the same way. And if you ever get one in the wrong direction, it messes your pattern up. You notice it real quick. It's a lot harder to figure that out doing like Adobe unless you're looking at it from the bottom. There. Definitely wrong. Right, so we'll go ahead and get this in. Now, a lot of times my builds, I'll get them fleshed out, and they may not stay that way. You know, I'll see something goes that I think would look better, and I'll go and do that instead. Right, so this is our second floor. Now we're only going to have two floors because the top of this is going to be open, and there's enough room you can land like griffins, even a wyvern or a void wyvern. They will fit in there. A little tight, but they will fit. Right, so now for the second floor, we're going to get a little creative here. And we're going to pick us up some metal triangles. And we're going to pop them down on the bar. Don't need the foundations anymore. What that does is whenever you take a metal ceiling or a metal foundation, square shape, and pop it down, and then you find that halfway point, the tip of the triangle is in the middle. So you can actually do a little bit of a design doing that, like blend it in, and that's what we're going to be doing here. We're actually going to come from the top, go down like that, there and there. and then use a metal wall. And now we've blended that portion into the front of it. And then we can go back here, make sure we get the right one. You see how it snapped on the front? That's not what we want. We want the back one. Not necessarily the back one. We want that one. There we go. We can pick that up. I figured that was 6. There we go. Got that. And then we can just pull out just a little bit. There we go. We're going to do the same over here. And that just blends where I boxed in the dinosaur gate. It's a very quick and easy way to blend that in. There are other ways, a lot more complicated, but I'm not doing that in this build. And don't forget, if you have questions, comments, concerns, please post them and I'll answer them as I can. Right, now one other thing we're going to do before I get too far into it, see how it leaves that hole in the bottom of it? Well, if we try to do that, it's not going to work. So what we have to do is get right an angle and you can catch it right there. I'm going to do the same over here. Sometimes it's about being in the right place. See, now we've got just a little 2 wall high little opening. Right, we'll go ahead and pop these in. Now they tried to snap to the doorways, and that's not what we want. Snap back there. There we go. Here. And we're just going to finish this wall. Just bring it right on up. Nice and clean. Just like that right there. Now, if you want to continue it up right here, you can, but part of your doorway is going to stick through. Like that right there. And if you're okay with that, then, I mean, it's your build. You do it how you want. I myself don't like it, so I'm not going to do it. Well, actually, that would work that way if you wanted to do that. Let me show you a trick that would do where you could blend it. You wanted to do this, right? And then you pop a ceiling down right here or up there. Sometimes they go where they want to, remember? And pop that. There we go. And then you take and you flip a doorway here so that it's blue. Hit triangle to make it green. You can do it that way. And that covers that up and blends it all together. So if you wanted to do it that way, that actually does look pretty good. So we're gonna leave that. Pop these in. Our ceiling in. Right, we got our blue flip. There you go. And that's what happens if you don't get it in the right one, which is okay. Push back. Heel. Out. We go. And then, of course, we can do the same across the front of here, or you can put a sign, a billboard, whatever up there. That looks pretty good. And then when we start painting the base, all that's going to blend in together. So it'll look good. Right, and while we're here, we're going to go ahead and add our railings to the front. Now, I do want to make an adjustment on the front right here. And we're just going to add a balcony. We're going to make it one wider than the door. Just like that right there. Oh, see where it tried to snap to the wrong one right there? So we want to take that out. There we go. And it still leaves plenty of room to build a boat, a small catamaran or something like that out here. Right. Go into structures. We're going to go ahead and select our take railings because that's what we want to use because they're a lot cleaner. Right, now we want to be very careful which of these snap points we're using because we want them to all match. So we're going to try and get the furthest one out so that they stay lined up. If you don't, they'll have different snap points and your railing won't be smooth. No? And just come in here and see how it's smooth across here. Now, of course, that's going to be a little bit different because this is not a double snap point wall. It's a single snap point. The double snap point's a little bit lower, so these all match up together. And that's good because we can always go back and put a column in, have it come right up through there. That blends that all together so it looks natural. Well, as natural as it can. I mean, if you wanted to, you can come back and do columns down every single one of them. If you like the way that column looks in there, and it gives it more, fills it in more, so it looks a little bit better. But it's what you're going for that matters. Like that. And that gets that done. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to see what something looks like here. If you take and flip these in like this right here, make sure you're in the right place for them. That adds a little bit of structure to your little balcony. Instead of it just being a metal sheet stuck out across there, all of a sudden now it looks like it's got some depth, some structure support to it. You're just so, this thing really loves me. How are you doing? You doing good? Here. I hate to do that, but go away. I will shoot you. Anybody knows me knows that I will kill a dino. There you go. Alright, he's being noisy. Right, but that just adds a little bit of something to it. And if you want to flesh it out all the way to the inside, you can. But it doesn't have that little lip right there. Or if you want to leave that little lip, that's completely up to you. But that way it actually looks like an actual balcony that's sticking out there, not just a sheet of metal with no supports that could fall at any moment. Even though that would be funny. We don't want that. Alright, so now that we got this, so let's go ahead and put our capper on here. See, once we put the top floor in, that will blend in and you don't even know the top of the door is there. There we go. Now let's go ahead and we're just going to take this one out for the moment because I don't know where the stairs are going to go. Yay! Alright. As you remember over here, we started trimming out the inner wall. So we're going to go ahead and finish that out. So you just want to pop it in until you see blue. Click it, then back up. You only want to get close enough, because if you get any closer than, what is it, right? If you get any closer than that, right now you can only see the snap point closest to us. If I move forward, it's going to find the snap point that the glass window's on, and it's going to try to use that also. So you don't want to be any closer than you have to. So you get there, hit triangle, then get just close enough to where, see, it's going to try and snap back here. So we move forward. It does that, just move forward a little bit. That pops that one in, and then pick this one back up. Right, so let's go ahead and get the rest of these in. Get just close enough. Click it. Like that right there. And now that started trimming the windows out on the front. If you want to see some really good builds, I highly suggest going over to visiting Atricia. That's a great server. There's a lot of talented builders over there. Um, I build over there. I wouldn't say I'm a good builder. I just enjoy building, and I have way too much patience. There are some excellent builders on that server. Well, actually, on the entire cluster, because they have several of the maps. There we go. And the server that Atricia is a PvE server. It's the cluster that I play on. I also play on When Worlds Collide, which is a PvP server. There's definitely some talented builders over there as well, but it is a PvP server, so you're liable to die trying to see them, but it's well worth it. Well worth it. Right now, you see here where we had this gap where we couldn't get our fence foundation in. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at our hand. We're going to just column this up right here. Get this one in. I have to do it from the outside because it keeps trying to snap to the ceiling above my head. I don't like that up. There we go. And what that does is those columns act as a transition piece. So it helps it transition over. Now, one of the other things I'm going to do is, now that I've got all of these walls in where I wanted them, I'm going to come back and I'm going to add fake fence foundations. What that does, that acts like a little trim piece for the bottom of the window. And by waiting till now to put it in, I could have put it in to start, but then that would have gave me 4 snap points to fight with. And I only needed 2 on the inside and the 1 here on the outside. So by coming back and adding it later, I'm not having to fight with the walls trying to get them in the right place. Now, if you ever have a problem like that, where like this section of wall is trying to act as a snap point, take the ceiling out. You go in. Well, one of them will. I don't know if it's the wall or the ceiling that's acting that way. There we go. Then just turn around and put those right back in. Make sure you get the right snap point. See that it's got the windows all trimmed out. Then we'll just do the same on the other side, and that'll get that finished out. And of course, you don't want to take that all of them out at once, or otherwise all of that will fall apart. There we go. Pop these right back in. pushing the rock. And that's got all of that taken care of. That's what we've got so far. And it's hidden behind this beautiful waterfall. Right, now we need to start figuring out some room placements, some where we're going to be doing our stairs, all that good stuff. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and section off this right here. And what that is that's going to be our bedrooms. So you have to decide how big of bedrooms do you want to have. Now I tend to, believe it or not, even with the mega structures that I build, like the entire plateau at Ragnarok, I prefer little cubby holes. So my bedrooms tend to be a lot smaller than most people would like. But we're going to go with the 3x3. And of course, I always do a space in between mine because I do sunken vaults in my bedrooms. So that space will actually be used for vaults. We may not be able to go 3x3, but we're going to try. Yep, it worked. There we go. Just going to block that off. That. Now, you do have to keep in mind when you're building your bedrooms, what kind of sleeping arrangements you're going to have. If you're going to use the tech sleeping pods, you'll want to go 3 high on your walls. That way the tech pod's not sticking through the floor above it. Is the door open there 3 walls high. Oh. Oops, come on, click, thank you. Right, so that's going to be our 2 bedrooms. Now, of course, the number of bedrooms have is completely dependent on how large your tribe is. You got to keep that in mind. Are you going to be running like 2 people per bedroom with bunk beds? Is everybody going to have their own separate room? Things that you have to plan ahead of. That way you can make sure that you get your layout right and it's better for everybody. Now, I'm not going to be using the tech sleeping pods in this one. I'm going to be using a canopy captain's bed that I designed. So that way there's plenty of beds for everybody. Right, so we're going to go ahead and get our roof on. As you notice here, I'm flipping the ceiling tiles, and the reason for that is, if you watch my boat tutorial, these lines, you always want those to line up. So I want them to go from one side all the way over to the other, straight across, to give that structured support look. If you have some going this way and some going that way, and you're going for aesthetics, well, then that shows up real quick. Then when we get to here, all of that starts lining up. Oops, I'm in the wrong place. There you go. Now, whenever you're looking in from the outside, you can see your ceilings match up. And we're going to go straight across here. Let's see, that one's trying to snap to the wrong snap point. And that little difference right there, after a while, compounding, throws your whole build off. Especially if you're trying to line some walls up or something, then nothing wants to line up. And it's all because this one right here is in the wrong. There we go. Now everything's lined back up. Good deal. And now whenever we put the rest of them in, because we got it outlined, the rest of them just pop right in. It makes it a lot easier. And I hope everybody's enjoying the stream. If you notice anything that you think I could do better or explain better, please let me know. I am still learning about being able to live stream and all that. Went in the wrong place, and that's not what we. Oops. As soon as I hit the button, I knew that one was wrong. Right, we're gonna. Yeah, there we go. Yep. And right here's what I was talking about, where it's trying to snap to the front wall, not the back wall. Leave that gap. So you want to definitely pick that up, replace it. There we go. Yeah, I knew that didn't go in right, but that up. Like I said, depending on the server settings, some stuff may go in perfectly. Other stuff, when you click it, you have no idea where it just went. I'll leave that one out. See, no matter how I flip that one don't want to go in. There it went. Finally. Had to keep working with it until you get it where you want it. Oops, no, you don't go there. Nope. Yep. Go. Now, also keep in mind, whenever you're building any base, your amenities, like your forge and all that, where you're going to put it, how's it going to fit into your build? Because you can actually put, I've seen a lot of people, they'll get their, like their base foundations put down, immediately put their forge in, and then have to pick it back up because they thought about putting it somewhere else. But if you plan out where that forge is going to go first, and then build from that, then you never have to pick it back up again. You may have to destroy some of your structure to make it fit around it, but really easy. And for this build, I'm actually going to use the forge as part of my lighting. So I already know where it's going. There we go. Almost got all of this flooring put down. Because I knew where the bedrooms were going to go, so I knew I could build them first before doing the ceiling. Alright. Now, you've probably noticed when I was building, there's this whole section right back here. That's not, like, the wall's flat and then there's an inset. But there's a reason. What we're going to do is we're going to pick those up. And then I'm going to build a wall straight down. That's the right one? Okay, so we're going to go that way. And then, oops, that should have been blue. That way it's on the inside. That way it matches up. No, I had it right. Yeah, like that. That's because this leaves a little pathway. You can walk through if you squat. Let me remember which button does it. Oh, you can crawl or squat. Right, and then we're going to put our door in. Oops, that was the wrong button. And that gives us a little passage back through here. Of course, there'll be a door right here too. But this is where we're going to put our forge. Grab us an industrial forge. Got it lined up right, which no guarantee that I do. You can see right here right above the ruler, right where my right finger just was, that line on the metal is what we're using to line it up. So walk back till it turns red. Just a little. And then side step. And what we're aiming for, we're wanting it to be basically right in there. Now our forge is hidden halfway inside the mountain. And we've saved some space by doing it that way. Instead of being right out in the middle of the base and having to build around it, we countersunk half of it into the actual mountain. Now it is still accessible. And when you light that thing up, it's going to give the floor below it, this floor and the roof, a nice green or orange glow. And there's still plenty of room over here for other stuff. You can even take the forge and get here or leave it there and put you a replicator sunk in right there if you want a replicator. So let's see how far in we could go. See, we could come and put the replicator right in there. Oops. There you go, like that. Now, for me personally, though, I would take it. I was going to put it in, and I mean, I'm not putting a replicator in here, but if you're just going to do it, take it and then completely put that in the wrong place. Put it down, then flip it around and put it in, and put it here and put the forge over there. But I don't want a replicator in this one, so we're not doing it. We'll go ahead and put our door in. And then, of course, you know, this space right here be used for storage or anything like that. And you have your little secret passage door over here. Right, and then we'll just build this wall up right here. Oops. Now you can, if you want to, use your glass windows or glass door, glass walls. If you want like a nice little view into there. Whoa, those are on the wrong snap point. Gotta watch out for that. We want these blue. There we go. Like I said, I don't want to cover up all of the natural mountain because you want some of that to show through. It gives it a more rustic look. And it looks like it's actually built into the terrain instead of on top of it. Like that right there. Now for me, though, I think what we're going to do is we're going to pop that one. I'm going to go here. Put me a ceiling right there, right? And one there. And this is where we're going to build our staircase from the second floor to the roof. Whoops, I want take stairs just because I think they look I like the look of take stairs, especially when you change them to ramps. Go here. That. That we'll do a set of enclosed stairs. Let's do regular stairs. I don't know if the railing's going to be enough. But yeah. Yeah, like that right there. Then we can just build it like that. That way, if you need to get up here to work on it, you can. I can go. You can go back in later and get those ceilings in. I'll flip it through. Oops. That. And it makes it look like it's a little turbine up here. That one might be a little bit harder to get in. May have to put it in from the bottom. Oh, I'll go ahead and add a railing right here. Now I have the access up here. Wow, those are completely off. There we go. Got those lined up. Almost put them in the wrong place. Right, that's got our little doorway. Now we can go through here. Go right down in here. And of course, you want to fill in that little hole right there. And that's just simply using the metal. Sloped. The only thing that art doesn't have that I wish it did was like the inverted slopes. There's so much you could do with those. Then you can take these, pop that over to a ramp, pop this one to a ramp. Now you've got a nice, clean little staircase up here. And of course, if you don't like how that looks right there, don't be afraid to just go over and just add in some walls. Cleans that right up. And then you can go back if you want to and turn these into doorways and put vaults across here to your heart's content. If you want vaults on the outside of your base. And while we're up here, we'll just go ahead and we'll add in, add in our little railings here. And remember, you're going to have triple snap points up here. So Whichever one you pick is the one you're going to go with. Make sure everything's leveled. All right, see how this one right here got off a little bit? I want to pick that one up. Pop it back down. Make sure it gets in the right place. That way it stays smooth and clean all the way across it. Yeah. See, all of these are off. Um, there we go. So that's got your railing. So this is your landing spot, your landing pad for where you can keep your flyers and stuff, fly in and out of the waterfall if you want to. Right, and then of course that's the top of our forge right there. Now you can, if you wanted to, turn these stairs around and completely wall off the top of that forge. So you could have the stairs connect to this one and come down, however you wanted to do it. I just did it that way because I don't mind leaving the forge out a little bit because that adds a little bit of light up here. Right, and of course we got our first two bedrooms. Now we're going to go ahead and start putting vaults in. We're getting our vault spots put up at least. Yeah, so we're just going to flip those. We're only going to have vaults on this side. Yep, just one vault per bedroom. That should be more than enough. Run around in this one. Right. Grab me some vaults. And what we're going to do is we're going to use that metal line right there. Like I said, you can use the ruler on the bottom or the your toolbar on the bottom as a ruler. It's got 5 slots on the left, 5 slots on the right. And if you notice that line in the middle between the square and the triangle, that's the middle of your screen. So you literally have a built-in ruler. If you just line that up, we're pretty much in the middle. And you pop your vault and just look straight down. Because you know you want the front of your vault to be past your wall. So you can see it's just a little bit off. There we go. Now, of course, you can use the ladder trick. Pop a ladder down, climb it, let go. You're going to be looking straight ahead, whichever way that ladder's facing. But that's also time consuming for something so minuscule. Do that and just pull it out just a little bit. See, we can still access it, and now your vault is set flush up against the wall. It's a very nice, clean look. And it does take up an entire space to do that. But if you measure where all of your vaults are going to be and get them to opposing walls, then you can just pop them in, and they'll be on either side of the wall. Oops, a little far. I'm using the rivets on the ground to line it up. I think that one's accessible and set flush. Then we go over here. This one's accessible. So 2 vaults taking up the same space. Then we're going to go ahead and pop our doors in. Oh, that one's backwards. It's supposed to be in green. I hope everybody's enjoying the stream. Don't forget to leave a like. Tell your friends, family, dogs, cats, gerbils. They're all welcome. See, that one's wanting to pop out, so we're going to have to... There we go. Now it's sitting flush. There we go. That locked in like it's supposed to. Give it a look from the side. Yeah, it's good and flush. That's how we like it. And I always try to do my doors double height, especially on tape, because not everybody's character is the same height, and a door that I can get through, somebody with a taller character might not be able to. So that's got that in place. Now we're just going to add a wall back here. There we go. Kind of flushes it out a little bit. Right, and see. What else can we do with all of this space? We could add 2 more bedrooms over here. We do need a place for the generator. I was actually going to hide it probably right in here. But I'll probably hide that on the first floor. But we do need to figure out where is our staircase going to go downstairs. Let's take a look here. First, before I do that, let's go ahead and get us a cryo fridge room and a kitchen. Sounds good. So we're going to drop back 2 foundations from that, because eventually I want to put relics in front of these windows as decoration, and maybe a bench and some stuff like that. But first, go ahead and get us a cryo room put up. We're going to green door that. We're going to pick those up. We're going to put windows in here. It's on the inside. Like that, and then we will metal this one. Now, do I see an empty spot? A little spot right there with no foundation support. So we're going to see if we can weasel a foundation. And the reason we're doing that, I mean, I could put the walls in, but they would be off a little bit. And I don't want that. I want them to be... I don't think I can get this in. There we go. And we're just going to metal wall that, because the only thing to see behind that is it's right there against that. We're probably going to close that space up. Right, and we're only going to put the trim on the outside. Yeah, that will... That looks pretty good. It's not too over the top. And we don't have to do it on the inside. Looks just fine. That looks good. All right. All right, give me just a second, everybody. I'll be right back. A little white-haired puppy has got to go outside, so I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. Then puppy gotta go, puppy gotta go. Alright, so then we're gonna go ahead and put our double doors in here. That is not where we wanted to put them. Try that again. There we go. And make sure they line up correctly. That one is in the wrong place. There we go. That looks a lot better right there. Right, now we can start putting in cryo fridges, anything like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and get me a drink. Right, and let's see. I'm gonna put a wall in here. And we're gonna put a couple of vaults in here. Yeah, we'll just do 2 vaults. Like that right there. Then we can take this spot over here and we're kind of going to do the same technique. We do the door frame, wall, but we're not putting a vault over here. Drop this in. Go ahead and get those on. We're just going to drop the fridge in here. See, a lot of times, if you take those odd shaped wall spaces and use that to build your wall, well, then you can drop your fridges, your vaults in unused space. Space that you wasn't going to be using anyway, so might as well turn it into something. And now you have a fridge, flush mounted, and vault, and they're all accessible. That's why we use the single door frame. Is that still allows access to whatever item is sitting in the doorway. You can do it with preserving boxes, fridges, vaults, anything like that. Now we can start putting. Do apologize, my voice is trying to give out. Okay, so now we can start putting in these. What we're going to do is we're going to use this line. Actually, I'm going to use the windowsill because it's a little bit straighter. Like that right there. And we're going to put 2 fridges in each window. Here. Just like that. So whenever you look at it from the outside, there we go. We got them all pretty well lined up. Right now, like I said, we got to figure out the place for the staircase. I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a lot. this little passage right here. That is definitely not. That's what. Okay. Yeah, we can use this little bevel right here. Put our staircase in our other floor. That works out perfect. A little bit of a head bump, but that's okay. Right now we just want to go ahead and close that up. Now we can either close it up here and utilize that, or depending on how you want to lay your base out. Actually, go this way. Close up the back side of that. Then I'm going to build my sunken, I call it a South Carolina barbecue. I really like the way it looks. It's a greenhouse. We're going to do a greenhouse door frame. Actually, a metal door frame and a greenhouse door. That's what we're going to do. Get us some greenhouse double doors. And then a metal double door frame. Which we may end up changing it back to a tape, but I just want to do this one. Here, I got my doors open the right way, because that's very important. Nothing worse than trying to dig a set of doors out of something you've built, because they open the wrong way. Like that right there. And pick that up. That up. Right, let's go ahead and flip that door frame that way, green side out. Let's put our doors in. They should open outward. Like that right there. That's what we was wanting. Good deal. Go. Right, now what we're going to do is I'm going to pick these doors back up now that they open the right way. We're going to put us a industrial grill in here. There we go.
As an honorary Australian, I have some.
We'll line this bad boy up. Get it lined up inside the doorway. Flip forward to make sure even. Both sides should come at the same time. That's pretty close. All right, we're gonna go there and let's line it up. We're gonna push it all the way to the back side of that door frame, like that right there. Good deal. That looks good. Yeah, I like the way that looks. That doesn't. That's why it's important to make sure you're placing the wall on the right snap point, because it can mess up the entire look of something. Doors back in. And now we have a little barbecue grill. Does not bad. Now, if you're worried about the back side of that, all you do is take you a vault, get it lined up here. Down, pop a vault in, make sure you're in the middle. That. Now whenever you come up here, you can't see through the back of it. So that's an easy way to do it. The other way to do it is to take ceilings and put them on that half snap point and put metal walls up behind it. So you can either put a vault that counts as one item, or 2 ceilings and 2 walls that counts as 4 items. So I like doing it that way. And it's still accessible. I mean, we'd have to move this out just a little bit. It needs to come out to this. Excuse me. I like that. Technically, the further out you can get it, the better. Get out. There we go. There we go. Now, you can also build like a fancy hood for them. You can do a lot of different things, depending on how you want it to look. I've built fireplaces, sunk them into the ground, everything. So it's however you want to set it up. Don't ever think that you can't do something, because, I mean, I'm doing it and I'm the world's worst at it. So it's just perseverance, time, and hey, watch a bunch of videos if you have to. Or you can ask and I'll show you how to do stuff. I do apologize because I think my voice is trying to go out. Alright, so let's just finish across here. Oops. Go. Then we can come back if, you know, and add details to the side of it. Or we can move this wall out, or like I said, we can do it. You can actually make it fancy. Do it like that right there if you want to. However you want to do it. Whatever you think is going to match. Just don't use the tech doors. Because you have to be able to get in here. Like I said, with tech doors, even when you open them, they're technically still right here. They're just invisible and you can't access your grill. Of course, we're going to have to wind up putting a cooker, things like that. Ouch. Getting a whole kitchen set up. This base, you can breed a little bit at a base like this on the roof, but this is not really, or water tanks. Of course, you can breed water tanks. Alright, now let's go ahead and let's get our floor put in. And this is something, if you know you're going to do this beforehand, I suggest doing it while you're building to save on materials. Because I'm fixing to destroy a lot of ceilings. But we know that right below us is a water tank area. What we're going to do if I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Is we're going to put in a floor that you can look through. Just because I think it looks really cool. We're going to stay one away, so that way will give us kind of a perimeter to look at. You can do different designs, different styles, however you want to set it up. Now we actually have a glass floor where we can see our water tanks down below us. Now, a PvP server like when Worlds Collide that I'm on right now, I would not suggest doing a glass floor. Because if they can get through that bottom door, they can blow this floor up easy. So you want to keep it metal, or at least tech or metal for protection. Like I said, I build for aesthetics, and I like a glass floor. Especially when there's water blow. And glass floor does really good when you're doing like a build over a river or over a waterfall, because then you can look down through the floor and see it. Right, but we're going to need to add some way to get from here down to there from the inside. You don't have to run out, swim around, and run back. So we're going to go down here. We're just going to go through this door. And see, now when you swim up, so if somebody's down here, you can actually see them. That's kind of cool. But we're going to start putting our staircase in. And we're going to come off of this edge. We know we got to go up 4 walls. So I want to do a double staircase, 2 walls, each section 2 walls high. We know that right there is our cooker, so we don't want to come up right there at the cooker. That would be a bad idea. So we're going to come down that way and then back in. Let's see. Take this one right. Put on slow speed. Take this one right here out. This right here looks like a good place to come. Now we can always move the cooker down and redo the stairs however we want. Just depends on how you want to set it up. This is your base. Alright, so what we're going to do is, I think we are going to move that cooker. Yeah, because we want these stairs to be in the back corner. Want this right here to be our landing. So we'll move the cooker down. And technically you don't have to. You can have the cooker sitting right at the top of your stairs if that's how you want to do it. If we come down, so we need to go back one. We will have to move that cooker. No worries. No worries. In the words of a famous man, we can put a happy little cooker right here if we want to. A happy little treat. Go down. Pop that there. Go down 2 more. There we go. Now if I was building this for pure PvP, I wouldn't have stairs. I'd have like one ladder with a gun pointed at it. That is. There we go. Good and clean. long ceiling tile. Cat box. This one, though, do something a little different. Go ahead and grab our slime. Actually, let's go with different look, right? What we're doing is we're actually making kind of a like an office railing banister, not banister, but you'll get the idea. Go like that. Okay, let's go with metal roof, maybe. Make sure they're sloped roofs and not there we go. That looks good. I like that. It's got a nice. It's that industrial office look to it. I like that. For these windows right here, this one, I'm gonna pop that out, or for them walls and put in windows. Put our six back here. Yeah, see that looks good and clean. Take and put these in here. Click it. Now that window's framed out. And just for aesthetics, let's go ahead and frame this out and close that wall up. That way we can put a door on the staircase and not just anybody can come up it. I said this is a PvP server, so we definitely want to protect as much as we possibly can. Still need to move that cooker. There we go. And see, that's one of the things you gotta love about base building, is a lot of times the bases build themselves. So if you just keep at it, keep doing what you're doing, as far as, building your style, whatever, the base practically ends up building itself. You may have to move some stuff around, but that's part of the fun. Go ahead and get some support in here. Just a second, checking my DMs. Looks good. I'm not getting yelled at about anything. All right, good deal. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to move this cooker, right? But we're going to start a kitchen over here. And we're going to make it part of the kitchen. But what that also means is that We will add a door here, right there. And that's where we're going to put our tech gen. We can hide it right in here. It has its own little room. Good to go. Go ahead and pop that out. We can literally just set it anywhere. Actually, yes. Take it. Line it up against this right here. See the middle there. Down until it touches. Spin it this way. Close enough. And we sunk it into the wall just a little bit. But what that does is this gives you room here. You wanted to put in some daddy storage. You put some daddy storage in right here for like element and stuff like that. Of course, remember with daddy storage, you don't have to have it, you can take and do like that right there and then take these right here out. And you still have room down here to put something, and now they're up there out of the way. If you wanted to, you could go around the whole room doing daddy storage. That's got that taken care of, so that's pretty good. And then, of course, you'd want to pin code this or lock it or something like that. Thinking of this right here, though. Pick that up. Green, come on. That looks window frame. Oh no, that looks better. You can stand right here, look in on your water teams. Definitely looks good. Looks good. Alright, then we'll add our door frame here. That go in. Capture the wrong one. Okay, there we go. Now, unfortunately, I have a bad habit of not always adding all the doors in, so I get yelled at for that. Make sure we add them. Go. So, I mean, you can see we still have plenty of space. See here. Well, we know we're going to do the cooker, so go ahead and get our wall. I think there's a ceiling. There we go. Get that. I think that's a good spot for the. Go ahead and fix it. I think I just made. I put the walls on the wrong snap point. That does happen. There we go. Right, so be on the blue. Go. There we go. We can get almond. Now we can get our doorway put in. We're gonna be using the double metal one. Get green. You are not on the green. You are on the. You're not on the blue. There we go. Get this. Go. And I'm just gonna. We can use the rock face as the back of it because it did fill it up. Like I said, you can do the ceiling trick if you want to clean that up. You don't have to. It's just whatever you want it to look like. Think that looks good like it is. Right, and now we've got to put in. Got to find a place for the double cookers. I think I can put it in here or the next one. I think it'll go in here. Yes, we want a single doorway. Yeah, that'll work. And we're gonna try to do the hot water heater look. What we're going for. Let's get us a metal pipe. Those. Now, of course, we'll have to run it down a floor, but that's okay. Because we can hide that. And then we need our cooker. Now, depending on what you want yours to look like, you can either do like the double cooker or a single. I'm going for a single. Set down far. Down. No. There we go. And let's pick up our piping. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to get lined up as good as we can. And unless you've done it a bunch of millions of times, this may take putting it down and picking it up a few times. So I'm probably going to be picking it up and putting it down a few times. What you want to do is no restriction that way. Pick up this wall. Yep, there. Right past it. That should do it right there. I think I'm gonna move it back just. Did have it right. I think we can move that to right about there. There we go. Want it to just barely stick, be touching the wall. That way it blends in. Kind of like that. So you kind of have to figure out how wide it is, where it connects. And just kind of guesstimate. Keep moving it around till you get it right where you want it. I mean, we can move it further back, but as you can see, it's already, this part's already touching. So depending on how much space you have behind the wall dictates kind of where you can put it. Because since it is in a doorway, it can sink all the way, halfway where just half of the tank is sticking out. I think that'll work pretty good because it still gives us our little dial right here. So we don't blow anything up accidentally, I mean. And let's go ahead and grab a stack of waffles. Then we can just pop that back in. For our little kitchen areas, so that's got the two main appliances right there. Like I said, I'm a PvE builder, not a PvP builder. So, a lot of stuff I build is purely for aesthetics, has no purpose other than for the way it looks. So if you're building for PvP, some of the way I build stuff might not be the best as far as how it's going to work in a PvP battle. Because my bases probably get blown up in a heartbeat. And then, of course, most of everything else is going to be just pure decoration. So we'll go from here, we're going to go right back up here. Is it just me or did I hear something? I didn't have my headphones on. Okay, so we've got our two bedrooms here. If you, like I said, if you want, you can turn this area into more bedrooms, or you can turn it into like a warehouse area. And we're gonna go with a warehouse. One. Let's drop it back one more. I think it looked better. One more back. There. There we go. Yeah, that looks a lot. Go right there. Yeah. Put our door right here. Plenty of room now for warehouse. Warehouse. We will definitely go ahead and add these walls here. Our doorway. That should not have went there. There we go. Put toppers on it. Now, if you find you need more space or you want to be able to diversify your inventory a lot more, you can change the layout, add more vaults in, just however you want to categorize everything. I know some people have, a vault just for saddles, one just for blueprints, one just for costume. That's fine. Because my main base on Atricia Ragnarok, my warehouse is humongous. It's an entire bottom floor of my base. Because I've got everything separated out. But in here, like this, see, we've got two main vaults there, and then you can start. I'm very, very fond of the warehouse, like the big, like a Sam's Club or something like that type. So I always like to definitely have plenty of tech storage. Get this here. Whenever you're doing daddy boxes, if you're doing big rows of them, your very first one is the most important. If it every little bit that it's off, it just gets worse the further you go down. Always take your time to line that one up as best you can. There we go. And you pop until we see it come through the wall. Okay, well, what I'm looking for is those little diagonal lines on it. There they are. Right, and this way. That's good. Might move that door. I could go one. Yeah, we're gonna move the door. And depending on how much space you need for in between daddy storage and stuff like that, you definitely get that. Me, I can don't bother me to do that. Definitely don't do that and put one in your face. No. Fix this. Right on the money. Good deal. Our door come in here. And I mean, if you want two spaces, you can, or one space. And then we can do another row. There we go. We can still reach these right here. Kind of closed in tight, but we can. That's plenty of daddy storage. And we've got the two vaults. And if we needed more vault space, we can actually, put another one in right in here. Now, of course, if you don't do the flush mount like I do, I mean, you can get a lot more in there. Doesn't look as clean, but you can probably get 4 vaults across here. Probably get what, 2 or 3 right in here. It's not going to look as clean, but it can still be done. Pop that one in there. There we go. So it looks more, I wouldn't say realistic, but it looks more built as opposed to everything just thrown together. Right now, of course, another thing you can do, and this adds just a little something to the base itself, is take these middle floors right here out and have a see-through balcony down to the first floor. So you could do that if you wanted to. If we take all of these right here out, oops. That is, if you're not going to utilize that space, then you could do that and just have a balcony railing around it where you can see down to the first floor. That's however you wanted to do it. Actually, you know what? I think let's go ahead and pop that and see what it looks like. That's up. And we'll go ahead and leave that section there because that's a half wall. We don't want to mess that up. Let's see if you did it this way. Because sometimes if you can't think of something to fill a spot in, then why is the spot there? So if you leave it open, then that just adds a little something how you can see down to the first floor. And then if you decide later on that you need that space for something, pick the railings up, throw your ceilings in, put whatever it is you need in there. But from here, you got a good view of the water down below. That's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and get our doors on the bedrooms. There we go. Get these doors put in before I forget them, because you know I will. And go ahead and add that one in. Ooh, need to do the double. There we go. That is definitely not what we wanted. There we go. Got our warehouse done. We've got our bedrooms done. Got our indie forge in place. Stairs up to top and bottom. Water pan done. A little bit of a kitchen. Like I said, there's not, other than storage, there's not much else you need to run an actual kitchen. The rest of it's all decoration. Doing an island bar, things like that. A good clear view of the waterfall. There we go. That is your basic waterfall base. You got a tech machine in it that can power everything. The rest of it, of course, I would suggest using tech lighting. You can even color the tech lighting. Oh, hey, Dad. Huggles. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure to leave a like. Invite your friends, family, dogs, cats, gerbils, hamsters, dinos, T-Rexes, Titansauruses, bulldogs. Invite everything. But thank you. But yeah, that's got our the basic base. Now, of course, like I said, if you wanted to do under here and you wanted to trim this out a little bit, what I would do if it was me is I would add basically a slope to it. What you do is you just add another foundation, right? And then come back with dum dum dum. Add your slant to it. Now, of course, you'd want to do these slants all the way down. And then for this, I would use tape sealant and come in with tape slope sealant. Right? And after you add those, you got the slope, then you can come in. And because we've got the foundation so low to the ground, whenever you add these, of course, I would have foundation support all the way down and add that so that when somebody swims up to it, it actually looks like, concrete footings or, structural footings into the actual bedrock instead of just straight down into it. But now, if you didn't want the take sealant, your other option, which is actually kind of cool. So let's go ahead and let's put foundations all the way down here. Let's skip that one. Like I said, I use metal with take accents. That way we don't get overloaded too much on the take. But and go here and put that one in, right? Right, we got those in. We're gonna come back and do the other side. That's the right one. Oh, that is the wrong one. Go there. Those are already in. Nope, that one's not. Remember, if you don't have to have a piece put in there, pick it up. Save on that prim on your count. I call it, if a lot of times you might hear me call it prim count or primitive, and that's because I used to play a game a long time ago that things were called prims, and it kind of stuck. So if you ever hear me say prims, I'm talking about structure count. Get this last one put in. Go over. Thank you. All right. Now here's where you get to be a little bit creative. All right, we're gonna take stairs. We're gonna pop them in. Now, be mindful of the snap point that it's snapping to so that they stay level. Yeah, that one's a little bit higher. I'm gonna bring it down. If it pops up higher, pick it up, put a different one. There we go. I think that's. And that's because we have the double wall, so it has more than one snap point. Not real sure which one to go to, so we've got to kind of force it sometimes. There we go. Alright. So you can leave them like that, or we'll flip them to a ramp. And that's why we put those angles in, because it seals up that little gap in between. Now they look like high-tech footings. There we go. We want that bottom snap point That way that ramp sinks into the top of that little slope wall that we put in. If you use the top one, there'll be a gap. You don't want that. But these, see, that looks like it's part of the actual ramp. That's actually the wall. See the wall right here? You flip it, because we sunk them, they're even with the top of that sloped wall. Otherwise, if you did use the other one, they'd be floating above it a little bit, and it'd have like a little lip. It wouldn't look good. Now you got your little footings. Then you come back after you get those in and do the fake fence foundations. There we go. Just adds a little bit of edge to it, not too much. Make sure you get the outside edge and not the inside edge, or it looks like that. And that's not what you want. And you can go all the way out to the edge like that. There we go. But that's definitely not. I wonder if this there. Okay, this stairs is higher. That's why. Goes up. Make sure we get that bottom snap point. There you go. You go in. No, you did not. Just snap tight, didn't you? Yep. And like I said, when we first started the build, sometimes you'll have to, mess with stuff because it's not going to go where you want it to go. It's going to go wherever it feels like going. There we go. I think we got another one down there that didn't go in right. Right here. This one. Oh, they all went in. Good deal. So that's just way, just kind of dress it up a little bit. Make it look more like an actual underwater entrance because it has support. Because remember, the further down underwater you go, the more support you have to have just for sheer water weight. There's our little breeding area with our little feeding trough. Let's go ahead and pop a feeding trough in here. Right there. Okay. And remember, with take doors, you can't put a feeding trough or a genie right up against it. Because you gotta make sure that you're far enough away so that you're past the door collision. So I always like to put mine right on the other side of the wall. That way it gets the maximum range. If you can get it in the center, that's good too, but since our foundations are all the way on the ground, there's nowhere to hide it. So I put it back here. And luckily our Tech Genie has a huge range, so we'll be good. Put our door in, and there we go. Of course, we're still hidden way back here. And see, there's a nice little alcove right here that you could build, put a whole bunch of guns or whatever right here for protection. So it's a nice little spot. Oops, definitely do not have that door in. Now, if you was building like on a PvE server, this a base like this, if they had stone, would be awesome. It look like it's carved out of the mountain. You definitely could do like adobe and paint it, and use a lot more glass features just to kind of dress it up like a resort. But there it is, and there's like I said, plenty of room to. You can land a void wyvern up here, regular wyvern, griffins, of course, just about any flying anything will land up here just fine. And if you wanted to build it, the wall on up and not even have a landing spot, just have more room for a bigger tribe or whatever, there's plenty of room. And that right there would make a perfect spot for a marquee. You could go, let's see, right here. See, you could go like right there. Get them to light up. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. I don't know where that one went. There we go. So you put those, and then you could actually set a billboard right on top of those with the name of your base or whatever you wanted. Get it to land on it. There we go. It's very touchy. Just like that right there. It's really easy to do. That way you've got the name of your base, or if this is a shop or whatever, you can advertise right there. You can actually, I think you can put two of them across there if you wanted to. But that way it's not too high up over the railing so you can still fly in. Very easy to do. Yep, right there. Thank you. But there we go. Hope everybody enjoyed the waterfall base field. Said it's located behind the waterfall, right below the Space Needle. And see from right here, I mean, if I hadn't used glass, if you use just all metal or whatever, and you paint it to match the surroundings, unless somebody knows that it's here or just happens upon it, like from back here you can see the glass. But if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't even know that base was there. So it's pretty well hidden. But yeah, it's right here. There's the Space Needle. There's the waterfall. Easiest way to find it is that right there. Because there's a hub right over there. It's pretty well hidden. And there's even like a ledge right here you can build a platform out for flyers or whatever. It's all hidden behind that waterfall. Huge location. But I hope everybody enjoyed the build today. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, tips, tricks, or anything that you'd like to share, definitely do leave them in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like. And now when I play PvE, my main build server is the Atricia cluster. The awesome cluster to play on. It's Atricia. Just type in ATTR in your search. Whenever you're searching for a server, you'll find all of the maps. They're a huge cluster. Got a great set of admins, great set of moderators. Definitely worth checking out. It's a 58 server. For PvP, I play on When Worlds Collide. It's an awesome PvP server. They just opened up, so it's still fresh. It still got that new server smell. But it's a great PvP server. If you're just looking to start out and get started in PvP, highly suggest it. But if you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to let me know. And as always, have a great day. Don't forget to lost chasing rabbits down rabbit holes after mysteries. And everyone have a great night. and bye bye.